A mod has been created to support Half-Life 2 using the Oculus Rift dev kit and Razer Hydra. It incorporates both full head and weapon tracking, and although it's pretty old now, this video shows a handful of screens of creator Nathan Andrews trying it out. This version hangs in the balance waiting for the official APIs and headset to catch up, although nothing has come out of this since September 2013. An official VR mode was added to Half-Life 2 back in May last year, and they released an update to the Half-Life 2 VR beta a few months ago. It'll definitely be interesting to see what comes out of this after beta. There are 2 games already announced for the PS4's Project Morpheus, and you'll hear about the second one later on, but for now, Until Dawn by Supermassive Games is our man of the hour. It's a survival horror game, and really it's going to be ridiculously interesting to experience horror in an immersive gameplay setting. It was actually announced back in 2012 for PS Move, but not much has been heard from it since, until now. Until Dawn is inspired by classic movies in the genre, and it promises to capture the player with a shocking and twisted story. Now, let's chill out for a bit here. Virtual reality isn't always about being inside a cockpit or running away from freaky things. Frontiers is the first one in our list to emerge from the Kickstarter world. It lets you wander around exploring and discovering in a massive, relaxing open world that emulates the tone of classic first-person RPGs. Getting more than triple its goal, Lars Simpkins is an indie developer and he's dreamed up this world of potential. He says this game is for anyone that likes exploration. It doesn't really matter how old you are, and it doesn't matter what other kind of games you play. It's a game that is as deep and engrossing as you want it to be. Developers Slightly Mad Studios have recently announced their upcoming crowdfunded game Project Cars will support the PS4 virtual reality headset Project Morpheus. They've said the game, which has been under development for quite some time, will give a totally fresh and exhilarating new perspective on what it feels like to sit in the cockpit of a high-performance machine screaming around a beautiful location. Not only will you apparently be able to feel the speed of the car, but you'll also be able to look around the cockpit, nose around at what's going on, and even look out the back window. Incredible. As you can see here, Team Fortress 2 is being used with both the Oculus Rift and the incredible Virtuix Omni, which means you can use literal movement within the game, even jumping. The game's VR mode is already available on Valve's massively popular game, which is a Steam favourite, and they even deployed an Oculus Rift hat in the game. Here's a little something from an interview with Valve's Joe Ludwig in terms of bringing this sort of VR mode integration to other games. He says there's certainly interest internally in moving other Valve titles. We don't know yet what the community thinks of all this. So, what does the community think of all this? Leave a comment below. Up next, another survival horror game for the list, but this one's for the Oculus Rift. Developers Killbright Studio have created Among the Sleep, and they've said the sense of perspective and scale it achieves makes playing a 2-year-old child an incredibly tangible and immersive experience. The game, as you may have guessed, is played from a child's perspective, and without the scariest of the game even considered, looking down at your little baby body or looking up at the world will be mighty scary all by itself. Oh, and this world contains 8-foot tall monsters with glowing eyes. Right. Elite Dangerous, the immersive space sandbox, has been announced with a release date of 2014. Once again, another game off the Kickstarter world, which is where the Oculus Rift found its feet also. It's been given an alpha run which has seen 10% of players use the virtual reality headset, so we'll have to wait and see what the result is. David Braben, CEO of Developers Frontier, has said, "We've been playing with the Oculus Rift dev kits and are excited about the potential just glancing around your cockpit or being totally immersed in a space battle." The game promises immersion to the cockpit as well as access to the menu on the side screen without having to press any buttons. This realistic single-player RPG from developers Warhorse Studios got itself over $1 million in backing on Kickstarter, and having been asked whether it will support Oculus Rift, they replied, CryEngine supports Oculus Rift by default, so general answer is yes. Of course, they've got a battle with trying to simulate horse riding without making the players throw up, because nobody wants horse motion sickness. But it's not only the horse riding they've got to get their head around, because this game also promises crafting minigames, huge battles, castle sieges and more. It's unclear how much integration the Oculus Rift will have for this game, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Star Citizen is space exploration in the fantasy setting, and designer Chris Roberts spoke during a virtual reality panel at South by Southwest this year. As to why they'd been developing with virtual reality in mind, Roberts said, "My whole career has always been about building worlds and experiences." The Oculus Rift will be compatible with Star Citizen on day one, with release expected end of 2014 or the beginning of 2015. But a dogfighting module is expected to release before this for backers from Kickstarter to try out their ships. And in at number 1, formerly EVE VR, this multiplayer dogfighting shooter from the incredibly successful EVE franchise by developers CCP Games brings virtual reality to the next level. It started off as an experiment and has since become so much more. I've actually been lucky enough to try out this game on the Oculus Rift, and it's pretty incredible to see. You can check that out by clicking on the box that will have appeared on your screen. Now, unless of course you're on mobile or tablet, in which case check it out by clicking the link in the description below. It won't just play on the Rift though, it's also shaping up for Project Morpheus development. We hope to hear more about this incredible game soon, so get yourself subscribed to the channel as we'll get you the latest news on EVE Valkyrie.